da pege drolo zambe zebrache pande lame shabla solvade Omo a guru vajradara sumati munisha sanekar Uta vardani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Om a guru vajradara sumati munisha san Uta vardani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Om a guru vajradara sumati munisha sanekar Uta vardani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Om guru vajradara sumati munisha sanekar Uta vardani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Om guru vajradara sumati manya sarva siddhi hum Om guru vajradara sumati munisha Uta vardani shri varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Om guru vajradara sumati munisha sanekar Uta vardani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Om guru vajradara sumati munisha sanekar Uta vardani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi Uta vardani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Om guru vajradara sumati munisha san Uta vardani shri bhadra varsa manya sarva siddhi hum Pakyuke kudandagi lo pakyuke sundandagi Pakyuke tukdandagi tenyerme çıktı çingi aloya makyuke kudandagi lo makyuke sundandagi nga makyuke tukdandagi tenyerme çıktı Chingelo Dagi Jetsun Lama Tuje Che Nyamda Dala Tuje Sikso So Gebe Shesandal Uyon Sungi Now Seji Ningne Solwa Debe Tse Dejen Kolo Visu Lekshune Yila Sambe Dedum Gemel Hunge Drubra Chingelo Tsoni Sodan Dikdun Sha Amge yin so lekshune lapchen tsoni yon so zobadan chera nyedun chamra jinging chancho parge nin tsen tukun tu nyu peme siudru lekshu chancho drube gegen kunshishi tungen de la drubra jinge dagi lona chola chopadan chemin samjur ngemba shiwa chodan tumbe dedun malupa beme lunge drubra jinge dorna tingne tserawa tamche dan techi pardune kaw tamche Rese kyamne lama keleme tukche chengi dala siksus gongyab drewe nyamda dachala jetsun lame tuje rabgong kudan sungi nawa drame tu nyamsu nyongwe kesant kewa kuntu yanda lama drame cheki pe la lonchech sadan lamgi yönde rabzon dorje changi kopa nyur tobe shoya pakyuke kudan dagilu Pakyuke sundan da genga, pakyuke tukdan da geyi, ten yerme çıktı çinge alo, makyuke kudan da gelu, makyuke sundan da genga, makyuke tukdan da geyi, ten yerme çıktı çinge alo. Om muni muni maha muni. Shakyamuni Soha. Ok. Quindi adesso
before we begin this retreat, the first thing to do is to prepare the place. It's quite simple what we're going to do, but we're going to recite it in Tibetan, and then we will explain it as we go and try to concentrate on what we're doing, and then we will quickly look at the sadhana, and it'll be easy to see how the structure is made. First of all, let's remember why we're here. As we explained this morning, our motivation to get close to Maritse, to Buddha Maritse, so that we can develop our qualities, go beyond our fears, and so be able to help others go beyond their suffering and their fear. And that's why we're going to begin this retreat of Maritse, for which, first of all, we're going to eliminate interferences, the interferences of the place. We're going to eliminate the outer, inner interferences, so that we'll be able to do the retreat harmoniously without inner or outer obstacles. So with this intention, we eliminate these interferences. The first thing we're going to do is the preliminary part of eliminating interferences. It's called chasum. It's a kind of gift that we give to all beings of nature who are here around us in the surrounding area, to come in, to be in harmony with them. So we're going to recite it quite quickly. It's so that you know it, you can find it in the book of Vajrapani, written by Lama Michel.
Janjo bardo dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gibe sonam gi drola penjira sangye drubra sho sangye chodan sogi chon Janjo bardo dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gibe sonam drola penjira sangye drubra sho sangye chodan sogi chonam Janjo bardo dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gibe sonam drola penjira sangye drubra sho Dewa dan dewe gyodan dembra gyoje simjen tamje dunga dan dunga gi gyodan chawra gyod simjen tamje dunga mepe dewa dan midre wara gyod simjen tamje niri chat nidan drewe tan nyamla nebra gyurchi simjen tamje lusem gi dunga le so shin trayun lusem dewa dan dembra gyod simjen tamje nga so topchin china nuchu koryo tanshin tsangma ne gyurchi Simjen damje dan zambu lingi kenro dan chinangi shide dan tugun dembra kyurchi Chumden de vesre chim kudo serbo sheche chani me kure shembara kyu Amrita kundali hana hana humpe Omo soba vashuda sarva dhamma soba vashudo Tomba nidu gyur Tombe ngale bamle jungwe rinpoche Pumba karpo tsenye tamche dan dembe nando Pumbe chundu tendo nime kingo lan Hui gi tar ngage korwale vesre che Chojo gyawa seche gi chinla nudu tamche Ngadren veser dan chebe namba chen ran Ta kundali hana hana humpe Om benza amrita kundali hana hana humpe Om benza amrita kundali Om benza amrita kundali hana 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 hana humpe Dendan chebe wetu shune pumba chudan rochik to kyu. Kundali hana hana hompe omo soba wa shuda sarva dharma soba wa shudo tomba nidu gyur tombe ngale omle rimboche neyan shingya che omo wetu fun shuwale jungel hadzele drube torma tanshin toba saba mebe yeshiki dusi gyatso chembro gyur oma hum oma ahum oma ahum
Bhuta Akarakaya Namo Sarva
Bhuta Sapariware Namo Sarva Tathagata Bayo Bishamukebye Sarvate Kam Ugates Parana Iman Kankana Grihantam Balintaye Swa Omo Sarva Bhuta Sapariware Namo Sarva Tathagata Bayo Bishamukebye Sarvate Kam Ugates Parana Iman Kankana Grihantam Balintaye Swa Omo Sarva Bhuta Sapariware Namo Sarva Tathagata Bayo Bishamukebye Sarvate Kam Ugates Parana Iman Kankana Grihantam Balintaye Swa Ma karo muka sarva dharma jenu benatute omo ahum peso. Ma karo muka sarva dharma jenu benatute omo ahum peso. Ma karo muka sarva dharma jenu benatute omo ahum peso. Adan lune jinsin bo shendala. Madun dundu torma di bügi yanda shiksusu. Çöcin torma di shela nejo daca kurchet. Nime sedan oncudan beldan radan kevasan Lonco gyacin kutopshin shidan gela sobay Legin odru dalazı sume tatu truzuchi Tümi chidan enamdan bendan genam shivadan Milam ngenda tsemangin chachen emba mebratı Chigen deshin loledan dunabijin Çöpedan dele tamche chungadan Yila döba kundru shu Kundali anana hompe omo sobawa shuda sarva dharma sobawa shudo tomba nidu gyuro tombe ngale omle rimboche nuyan shingya chevena torma karsung aso saba mebe yeshiki duzi gyazo chembur gyuro Sarva Tathagata Valukite Omo Sambara Sambara Namo Sarva Tathagata Valukite Omo Sambara Sambara Namo Sarva Valukite Omo Sambara Sambara Chomden De Deshin Sheba Gyawarin Shemala Cha Zero Deshin Sheba Susetan Bala Cha Deshin Sheba Kuchamle La Cha Zero Deshin Sheba Jikpa Tamcheda Chawala Cha Zero Dutse Gyazo Torma Kanche Meba Tamcheda Kebra Yujo Dinigi Yula Shida Namlabu Shene Nejo Gada Chawa Chichekya Kola Trado Mizepara Tunge Yishin Drubrash Dagi Sambeto Dani Deshin Shebe Chindozan Chugi Inge Tonam Gitanda Kanda Samba Deda Tamche Chiripa Toba Mepara Chungyur Chi
Benza Yakya Om Pe Om Benza Zola Anala Anada Bada Beda Bedara No Om Pe
Om Sabawa Shuddha Sarva Dharma Sabawa Shuddha Tomba Nidu Gyo Tombe Ngale Om Le Rinpoche Nuya Shingya Chewa Namgin Om Vedu Shuwa Le Junga Chunyo Shapsi Medo Dubo Marme Trija Shase Romo Tanshin Toba Meba Namkata Nyambara Gyur Omo Argam Padi Om Benza Pushpe Benza Dub Benza Aloke Om Benza Gende Om Benza Neviti Om Benza Shapta Vishwate Dharmate Benza Siddhi Onamo Sarvata Tathagata Bayo Vishamukebhya Sarvate Kame Ugate Parana Eman Kanganam Kamso Maritse Om Pe Om Akaro Mukha Sarva Dharma Jenu Benadute Namo Sarvata Tathagata Avalokite Omo Sambara Samba Omo Ruru Puru Sarvatishta Siddha Lotsani Sarva Artha Sadana Yeswa Dagi Sambeto Dani Deshin Shebe Chindodan Shukin Getonam Gitana Kanda Samba Kundala Tamchechi Topa Me Prajungyurchi Tada Nimanga Yidu Shishin Shube Nenge Yang Shake Temba Suan Dajan Namla Penda Chira Nedi Nidu Shiksu So Chugyan Jigden Kyonwa Wandan Den Nije Hadan Transo Yida Simbolo Rinzin Gyabo Dani Dungi Da Deda Soso Wampo Kurdunpa Chuchu Jigden Kyonwa Shukso Tse Temba Gebe Ledu Chendrena Drove Tunjir Chogi Sheksu Yahi Dashadika Loka Pala Sapariware Samaye Swa Om Rudraye Om Shata Sahasra Akshiye Om Agniye Om Yamaye Om Niritaye Om Varubi Om Vayobi Om Kumberaye Om Urdum Brahmanaye Suhya Padaye Chandra Nakshatrati Padaye Marta Priti Vibye Asurebye Nagebe Sapariware Argam Pratitsa Om Soha Kamalaye Stam Rudraye Om Shata Sahasra Akshiye Om Agniye Om Yamaye Om Niritaye Om Vayobi Om Vayobi Kumberayam Urtum Brahmanayam Suryagra Atipadaye Nakshan Naksara Aktipada Om Arta Pritivibi Asuribya Nagebe Saparivaranam Sarot Akar Argam Padye Pushbe Dube Aloke Gende Neviti Shabda Pradisaye Ai Gabo Dungeda Shasho Dunje Soche Chujin Dede Chaganze Mekte Seja Savela Tansa Gabo Dungeda Chujin Dede Chaganze Shinjelana Pigeon Cham Mamo Gabo Dungeda Dunge Tuchela Chujin Dede Chaganze Dendan Drawa Ligden La Simbo Gabo Dungeda Dono Dunge Tuchela Chujin Dede Chaganze Shabbateba Chuela Lui Gabo Dungeda Dono Dunge Tuchela Chujin Dede Chaganze Lunde Sogan Zimbela Rinzin Gabo Dungeda Nukchan Dunge Tuchela Chujin Dede Chaganze Janjo Dunge Tuchela Chujin Dede Chaganze Wandan Dembe Drimbela Jumbo Gabo Dungeda Nasha Dunge Tuchela Chujin Dede Chaganze Dinge Samba Chimbo Dan Nima Dawa Sachem Sadan Gyugarchi Chujin Dede Chaganze Ogi Lute Sailha Sanzin Lapa Chimbo Tamsi Shebe Tuchel Chujin Dede Chaganze Om Shata Sahasra Akshiri Om Agni Om Yamaye Om Niriti Om Varubi Om Vayobi Om Kumbera Om Urtum Brahman Surya Agra Atipadaye Chandra Nakshatra Atipadaye Om Apatiti Asurebe Nagibe Saparivarana Namasarata Kadabai Vishamuke Besarate Kamigam Kankaran Grihantam Balintaye Swaha Om Rudraye Om Shata Sahasra Akshi Om Agni Om Yamaye Om Niritaye Om Varubi Om Vayobi Om Kumbera Om Urtum Brahmanaye Om Surya Agdipade Chandra Nakshatra Atipadaye Om Apatiti Vibe Asurebe Nagibe Saparivarana Namasarata Kadabai Vishamuke Besarate Kamigam Kankaran Grihantam Balintaye Swaha Om Rudraye Om Shata Sahasra Akshi Om Agni Om Yamaye Om Niritaye Om Varubi Om Kumbera Om Urdum Brahmanaya Surya Agradati Padaya Chandra Nakshatra Atipadaye Om Avtatiti Vibi Asurabhya Nagebe Saparivarana Masarata Kadabai Vishumke Besarate Kamima Kangaran Griyantam Balintaye Swaha Abhuvadida Shesoso Meda Shinche Dendre Simbota Chudan Lunda Norgida Bote Wandela de Jumbo Anam Gunda Saye Lanam Da Re Lada Nujin Sonam So Torma Biwana Rabdu Keba Yini Sheneka Raran Chosu Lekbar Shuneka Rangi Puze Zawa Shenyentu Nandam Medo Dridan Jubo Torma She Dinam Tunshi Lekbar Sanek Dagi Ledi Dribu Chibrat Nejo Daja Korjela Neme Seda Unjoda Lekda Lonjo Gyachen Kudovish Shidangela Sobaye Legi Modruk Dalatso Tamsi Chingi Dalat Modrukungi Tongrozo Tumi Chidanenam Dendangena Shiva Milam Ngenda Tsemangen Chajengenba Mebrazo Jigden Deshin Doledan Runan Peshin Chebedan Deletam Chechu Ila Deba Kundrosho Yochin Tojetan Namka Dinda Dabsa Chisa Sumbo Dingerenam Dagi Pimo Sala Tunen Samojane Kela Sultem Tene Pendale to Dirjunshi Deva Naga Yaksha Gandharva Asura Garuda Ginara Maura Manusha Amanusha Sapariware Samaye Swaha Deva Naga Yaksha Gandharva Asura Garuda Ginara Maura Manusha Manusha Sapariware Pravara Sekara Argam Pradishta Kamalaye Stam Deva Naga Yaksha Gandharva Asura Garuda Nigara Maura Manusha Sapariware Pravara Sekaram Argam Padim Pushbe Dube Aloke Gende Nevi Shavta Pratishta Deva Naga Yaksha Gandharva Sura Garuda Genara Manura Manusha Manusha Sapari Varnama Sarataka Vishum Kebe Sarateka Mima Kragana Griantam Balinta Yeswa Deva Naga Yaksha Gandharva Sura Garuda Genara Mahura Manusha Manusha Sapari Varnama Sarataka Vishum Kebe Sarateka Mugate Himankanka Nagriantam Balinta Yeswa Deva Naga Yaksha Gandharva Sura Garuda Genara Mahura Manusha Manusha Sapari Varnama Sarataka Vishum Kebe Sarateka Mugate Himankanka Nagriantam Balinta Yeswa Kanda Tsevela Yenenanda Shanurilanda Rivokula Kanda Nebada Rinchelina Lakprakaneda Chuvokunda Chuvodonamda
Soda Zimbo Tingi Chomoda Yajo Sema Jana Kaneda
Dronda Chuda Lunge Kimdonda Kando Dada Lai Kambada Tsula Kanda Chudenenamda Kaduneda Lanjenenamda
Gebo Kogradana Kaneda
Lamsa Sumda Doda Shidoda Kanda Lamjendinish Tudro Chembo Namse Chembo Da Senge Doda Chinsenenanda Rochen Jiksu Runga Kaneda Kanda Lincho Dana Nebada Lumbo Tudro Nana Rabtu Geshin Govar Gurneso Chema Medo Tridan Dubrach Todan Torma Marme Gubuna Dida Tunshele Brasanek Dagi Legi Debu Chibrad Nike Hunze Togyo Sange Gidembada Chiki Dembada Gendu Gidembada Sangada Ringan Chingela Bagiri Kaimba Deda Tamche Chibra Gyur Chetraki Hunza Argam Brajisa so Kamala Yestam Kungani Kungani Son Pizzi Pizzi Son Kungo so Saparivar Sapravara Sekar Argam Padi Pushpe Dube Aloki Kendene de Shalta Pratisa so Kungani Son Pizzi Pizzi Son Kungo so Saparivar Namasarata Kata Bishum Kibesarate Kamima Kangana Griantam Balinta Yeso Kungani Son Pizzi Pizzi Son Kungo so Saparivar Namasarata Kata Bishum Kibesarate Kamakana Kangana Griantam Balinta Yeso Kungani Konson Pizzi Pizzi Son Kungo so Sarva Namasarata Kata Bishum Kibesarate Kamukate Parana Himan Kangana Griantam Balinta Yeso Jumbo Namda Shasada Simbo Shachen Savada Simje Namba Nazoda Joshingewas Tedan de la Tormani Sawa Shajan Buwache Reche Debu Mambot Chepadi Guchola Nebe Samba Shivadan Dacha Namla Pembe Terin Penche Kebargi Dushi Yanda Domla Sambrajo Jumbo Kunla Samba Pangbat Gelong Gejundi Tramsete Sunja Minche Kayame Sunja Sojak Rangi Lula Pelon Shenge Neva Majeche Om Chimbo Chungo Kandagi Lula Ngombara Nugurpe Nede Nyevara Chungnes Tende Rangi Neso Ten Cheda Nigur Chebaye Tamsine La Nene So Dagi Deba Kebrat Tato Tamsila Neshin Dirni Gyujur Yungida Nede Nyevara Sezel Tunge Neso Den Naga Gandharva Asura Garuda Genara Manusha Sapari Pravara Sekar Argam Sayeso Nanesu Shekvar Rutra Yom Shata Sahasrayom Agni Yom Yama Yom Niritayom Barovyom Vayovyom Kumberayom Urdu Brahmana Surya Chandra Nakshatra Pada Yom Arta Priti Vibi Asura Vyanagiri Saparivaras Pravara Sekar Argam Pratitsa So Getsa Chogyon Ranesu Shekvar Ratatagata Sambara Namo Sarvatagata Valukitemo Sambara Namo Sarvatagata Valukitemo Sambara Namo Sarvatagata Valukitemo Sambara Deshin Shepetin Dodan Chukin Gitanum Gitanda Kanda Samba Conte Datam Cheche Topa Me Para Chungyurchi Amrita Kundali Hana Umpe Omo Sabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Sabhava Shuddha Tomba Nyedo Gyuro Tombe Ngale Omle Rinpoche Nöya Shibya Chewa Namge Nado Omo Vedu Shuwa Lejo Cheyo Shapsi Medo Dubo Naze Trija Shase Romona Chanshin Toba Meba Namkada Nyambra Gyur Omo Arga Mumpa Nyam Benza Pushbe Benza Dube Benza Aloge Benza Gende Benza Nevi Benza Shata Vesretru Trovo Tsopa Du Meba Chen Omo Benza Krunda Ranza Sapari Ware Samaya Za
Omo yeshi kebe
Meta barwe mari debe mungan tamche se shinda shinche chekpa chumse pawo chenpo panse tabra chen lodren simbo tamre ribe kyabo trovo shuso se lodren dowe ledu chuden drove tundu chuki shekso so krodaraza sapare ware ehya hi pravara se kara argam pratitsen so kama la pemat kadma la yestam ombenza ma krodaranza sapare ware argam padiem pushbe dübe aloke gende nevit shavta pratitsen so
Chingi tomba nyeme
Nganyele jikten kyomba sunya mi ponshin tabla kebe jikche kurtumba chujen barwet sola chas yeshe shive ngale mayo kyang kuye chalo sache ngandalche sungye ngaro chodan tingwe da malu wandu de la chas habe yeshe rebe tunze chi dik yodo chonanam nyombo dukchen tsene jomze pa chudu gengi gen la chas elo kabe meta barwet Pavo danda gyambe sushur Nida barwe chinde damigi Gebo sebra tsela cha Tselo tumche duda medar sinche bara Lonto gyundro tronye chewase Ngambe ngaro druta tonshinro Trogya getso dula cha Tselo hun chikpe hunra ngedro shi Gena malu jumzepa Ngodro tamche tsovela Gege drala cha tsetu Kundali hana hana hompe Omo sabava shuddha sarva dharma sabava shuddha Tomba nido gyum Tombe ngale omle rinpoche Neyan shinga chewa namgena Gigi torma saba mebe yeshegi duzi Gyazo chembro gyuroma hungomo ahum
Oya rangi tuke mamle
Vesetru nindru chawala pardu chobe Gigi tsona dundu kupara kyu
Omo sarva
Bine namo sarva tata kata bayo bisho mukebye sarvate kam yugate par Ralinta yesoha Omo sarva bine namo sarva tata kata bayo bisho mukebye sarvate kam yugate sparana himan kankana grihandam balinta yesoha Sarva bine namo sarva tata kata bayo bisho mukebye sarvate kam yugate sparana himan kankana grihandam balinta yesoha Sumbani sumbanyum griana paya Omanaya o bhagava bindya ranja hompe Omo sumbani sumbanyum griana paya Omanaya o bhagava bindya ranja hompe Omo sumbani sumbanyum griana paya Omanaya o bhagava bindya ranja hompe
Omo kingura chembo saje la nebe hala sobe
Gezo kunye jeng
Kane nede nidu chomo che
Könandini shindu drovaraki Kate ngayi
Kale dake na
Yeshe chingi dorje barvai Govo tsepa gyarni gegirshin Genala pra gyurva dhumisa Namo Jesun Savadan Gyubre Chepe Pandela Matamba Namge Kadem Badan Yidam Kingorge Lazo Namge Kadem Badan Sangedan Junju Semba Namge Kadem Niran Chugyon Suma Namge Kadem Badan Kebra Duyan Chumden Deve Sercheme Lazo Kordan Cheba Namge Dembe Tulate Nindru Samu Cheba La Pardu Cheba Tsumge Gekitso Kayimba Tedata Tormadi Tsimbra Gila Rara Soso Neso Sonshi Kademi Drona Drovo Yeshe Gidorche Me Rabdu Barwe Govo Tsaba Garla Gyurve dömi sabani sumbani griana paya anaya ho bhagavan bindyaranja hompe sumbani griana paya anaya ho bhagavan bindyaranja om benzamrita kundaliana om benzamrita kundaliana om maritse
rangi tuke mamle
Vesetru Tewo chonsang tamje dorje sashi rawa kur Lare meri dan chepe parza mebra yonsu kor Namba tamche tu gekdan trawar kyu Quindi tutte le interferenze sono
So all the interferences have been eliminated, taken afar. We visualize that we're protected by a Vajra fence. in all directions, above, below. We imagine this kind of tent, of Vajra tent, like small Vajra diamonds that are going to protect us during the whole time of the retreat.
Amrita Kundali Hana Hana Hompe Omo Sobhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Sobhava Shuddha Tombe Ngale Nekam Brumle Rimboche Natsole Drube Tarpa Chimbo Sheme Kanseni Tamche Yonso Zobe Omle Rimboche Nyan Shingya Chewa Chugi Yinda Nyamba Namge Nangdo Drumle Kamsong Gize Kebarato Pakshin Chogi Mi Gyurwe Chunyon Shabse Medo Marme Shase Romo Debe Yunde Ngada Rimboche Nadunda Chebe Lamo Laso Chetse Tanshin Toba Meba Papa Kundu Sambo Namba Tarba Lejum Chebe Tinle Kyan Chechera Hakpa Ramjan Namke Tara Kyabar Gebra Kinshi Tukoro Korwa Chise Matonge Bar Gyumi Chebra Jume Ranshin To Kyo Pura Pura Sura Sura Avartaya Avartaya Om Benzaspara Nankam Omo Sarva Be Pura Pura Sura Sura Avartaya Avartaya Om Benzaspara Nankam Omo Sarva Be Pura Pura Sura Avartaya Om Benzaspara Nankam Om Benza Arkam Adem Benza Pushbe Dube Benza Aloke Gen Nevid Shabda Namo Bhagavate Benza Sarva Brahmadane Tathagata Arahate Samya Sambuddhaya Sayata Om Benze Ma Teza Benze Ma Vidya Ma Bodhicitta Benze Ma Bodhi Mandapa Sangramana Benze Sarva Karma Avar Vishodhana Benze So Benza Sarva Pramadane Tathagata Arahate Samya Sambuddhaya Sayata Om Benze Ma Teza Benze Ma Vidya Benze Ma Bodhicitta Benze Ma Bodhi Mandap Sangramana Benze Sarva Karma Avarana Vishodhana Benze Swaha Sarva Pramadane Tathagata Arahate Samya Sambuddhaya Sayata Om Benze Ma Teza Benze Ma Vidya Benze Ma Bodhicitta Ma Bodhi Mandapa Sangramana Benze Sarva Karma Avar Vishodhana Benze Swaha Sungye Demba Dan Sangye Dan Chanchu Semba Tamchegi Chinge Labdan Tsoni Yonso Zobe Ngadan Chembot Chegen Yin Nambra Thachin Samge Topge Teshin Nito Kyorochi Om Benza Dharma Ranita Praranita Sambraranita Sarva Buddha Keja Prasaline Prangya Paramita Nada Sabhava Benza Satvaridaya Santo Kane Ho Dharma Ranita Praranita Sambraranita Sarva Buddha Keja Prasaline Prangya Paramita Nada Sabhava Benza Satvaridaya Santo Kane Praranita Sambraranita Sarva Buddha Keja Prasaline Prangya Paramita Nada Sabhava Benza Satvaridaya Santo Kane Il luogo in cui ci troviamo.
The place where we find ourselves, we imagine it to be a pure place with many, many offerings. And in this moment, we're going to bless our cushion, our specific meditation place. So we sit down like the posture of Buddha at Shobhya with the earth touching mudra. The left hand is in the position of meditation, and we remember in this moment the life of Buddha Shakyamuni, where before he reached enlightenment, he took the commitment to sit down and to meditate until he overcame his own ignorance. And we're going to sit here like this during our retreat, according to the amount of time that we have available. Whether you commit yourself to, you vow to follow all sessions or just one session. But today we take this commitment for this period of retreat, independently of whether you can you whether you can decide to you can say, for example, for 1 week you'll do 1 or 2 sessions of the practice of Maritse, and you imagine that this place is a stable place, that this cushion is connected to the center of the earth.
Ripetete.
Repeat.
Vajra asana. Hum swaha. Omo a vajra asana 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 hum swaha.
Now we do the protection of the 10 directions. So the 4 cardinal directions and the 4 intermediate directions, and up above and below. So 10 protectors are positioned to keep us from interferences.
Sumbani Ungriana Paya Bindya Ranja Hum Ungriana Paya Anaya Obagawan Bindya Raja Hum Sumbani Ungriana Paya Anaya Obagawan Bindya Ranja Hum Kundali Hana Hum Benza Amrita 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 Hana Hum Vesre Temo Chonsam Tamche Dorje Sashi Rawa Kurala Re Meridanche Parza Meba Yungsu Kor Namba Tamche to Gekdan Trelwar Una volta.
Once again, we create a Vajra protection, a protection of light around the 10 directions, a kind of tent of light that, and if you get close to it, you can see it's made of many diamonds, like Vajra diamonds, so that no interference can get into this place. Now there's the blessing of the protection of body, speech, and mind. And imagine at our crown, there is a white Dharma wheel marked by Om. At our throat is a red lotus flower marked with A. At our heart, from whom comes a blue Vajra marked by whom.
Rimra ale pema marpo teura etsempa tukra hunle dorje ngom teura hunge tsembara kyo omo ahum omo ahum omo ahum da om ahum si emanano raggi di luce di colore bianco.
From Om Ahum, white, red, and blue light rays go to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and asking for all their blessings. and from all the holy beings, light rays, white, red, and blue, emanate from them and absorbed into our crown, throat, and heart, giving us the blessings of body, speech, and mind.
Mamle vesretru tenwo chonsam tamche dorje sashi rawa kura lare meri danche parza me ba yonso kor namba tamche tu gekdan chalwar kyu Shiwa da midun nembe kendan chewa da Püson sogyu tashi de kyan tendir dele shu Nime kuyan delek shin yin sen takto delek pe kuncho sumke jing kuncho sumke ngodro so kuncho sumke tashi shu
In this way, we conclude this preparatory part. What's important for each one of us is the commitment that we take for this period of retreat. We should maintain our attention mostly on the retreat, the practice of the retreat. I don't mean that we should take a vow of silence, but a commitment to not to say what is not necessary, not listen to what is not necessary, not watch what or look at what is not necessary. So our focus is on our own practice. So we generate this commitment during this period to not go to places that are not strictly necessary, not see people that are not absolutely necessary, to not have distractions, so to concentrate well on the practice during this period of retreat. Now we'll give a brief introduction to the sadhana. In the sadhana, let's start from page number 6. We have the first part, which is done in the first session. It's the preparation. It's part of our daily practices that one can do every morning that have to do with like multiplying mantra, multiplying the positive energy, the blessing of the mala, the taking of the refuge. Then there's the blessing of oneself, where one generates it from a pure state and one blesses one's own body, speech, and mind with Om, Ah, and Hum. And then afterwards there's the speech blessing on page 8, 9. These are things that can be done, practices that can be done every day, right away at the beginning of the day, when one begins one's day, the first practice. Then I saw here just one thing. On page 6 and 7, the blessing of the mala, in reality, one should do it after. It's also written on page 10 and 11. So we don't recite the mantra for blessing Yeah, it's so important that here we have it twice. But no, the one it's actually on page 10. It's here. It says "O Rutsi Ramani Pravartaye Soha." That's the mantra to bless the mala. Then we do the on page 12 and 12 and 14, etc. There's the practice of Guru Yoga and the request for blessings of from our gurus, lineage gurus. And then after page 18, one could do Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa or do the Guru Puja. It's not an obligation, but generally speaking, it's something that one can do in the first session. And the real sadhana, the actual sadhana, begins on page 20. Again, we generate, we recite the refuge and bodhicitta, and then this love and joy. We do the 7 limitless meditations. One could say, well, we've already recited this, and instead the motivation needs to be regenerated again and again. It's so important. And then on page 24, we have the specific motivation where we say, may I reach enlightenment for the benefit of all beings as quickly as possibly. And for that reason, that's why I'm going to do the sadhana of Maritse. That's here where we say, Dagi masem chen tamche ki dondu sobe sangi ki gompa topa ja de chedu chamtende oser cheme gomde ki rimpanyam sula wargiyo. This is generating the specific motivation. And then we recite the lineage prayer request. This part, I added this in the original sadhana of Maritse that we're using. It's a sadhana that's based on a sadhana based on a sadhana written by Lama Tsongkhapa that was very brief. And I recited this for many years. There are many, many forms of Maritse. We're reciting the sadhana with Maritse with one face and 2 arms. This tanka that was brought from Lama Ganchen's house is with I think 8 arms and 3 faces. But here we're using the image of Maritse with 1 face and 2 arms. Rinpoche often reminded me that in the times that we live, it's better to simplify and do practices with 1 face and 2 arms. And we've used this sadhana of Lama Tsongkhapa. The sadhana that Rinpoche wrote is wonderful. It's good for daily practice. And at the beginning, there's always this lineage prayer request. And here we've written this first verse that starts with Buddha Vajradhara. It's the way Buddha Shakyamuni transmitted the Tantra to Vajradhara, then to Lama Tsongkhapa, and then all the masters of the lineage to get to Trijang Rinpoche, to Lama Ganchen Rinpoche. And then the last verse refers to all the masters from whom we have received the blessings of Maritse, the teachings of Maritse. And once we do this, we imagine that each master of the lineage absorbs one into the other to get to our root guru, who then absorbs, comes to our crown, enters into our body. He's full of nectar and then absorbs into us. And our body doesn't just fill up with nectar, but we're totally purified and we experience a great bliss. After that, we start with the sadhana. The first part is the instant self-generation, done because we need to transform and purify the offerings, and you can't do that with an ordinary identity. You do a quick, an instant self-generation as Maritse. This is called Kechik Drunke. It's called instant self-generation. Instant because it's not a long meditation where one meditates on the process of the death and the bardo and the rebirth gradually. No, it's done very quickly, like in an instant. One dissolves into light, and then like a fish jumping out of water, one arises in the aspect of Maritse. That's why it says Rani Kechik. I, in an instant, I arise in the form of Bhagavati Chomdende, she who is victorious over the mental defilements. Bhagavati is the one who destroys the enemy. The enemy is ignorance, the selfishness, etc. Bhagavati, Maritse, or Chomdende, or Chema, Kodo Serpa, Sheching, Chani. In an instant, I arise in the aspect of Bhagavati Maritse with one face and two arms. After that, right away, to be able to purify the offerings, etc., we use the substance. So the purifications come through the power of concentration, mantra, blessings, but also through the power of the substances. And in Anuttara Yoga Tantra, we use the inner offering. And being Kriya Tantra, we don't have the inner offering, but we use the vase. I'll use it on behalf of everyone. Not everyone needs to have a vase. So first we generate the action vase, and it's only in the first session in the morning. It means that in the second session, from here to page, so from the beginning of 26 to the middle of 27, we jump. So this we skip. So the vase dissolves into emptiness at a certain point. It reappears as a vase with all the excellent characteristics of a vase. So the vase arises, and within we imagine that there's a sun cushion, and on top there's Hum, and around the sun cushion there's the mantra Om Benza Amrita Kundali Hana Hana Hum Pe. It's the mantra of a protector. There are the protectors of the 10 directions, and this is one of them, called Amrita Kundali Dutsi Kilwa. And in practices of Kriya Tantra and other practices, when we need to eliminate interferences, we do it through this divinity, Amrita Kundali. I had, in the retreat of Hayagriva, I brought this statue that I had received in Japan, in the Shingon tradition. It's the same divinity is used, and I was given this. And they had made a statue actually for children to play with. This is really quite nice. Maybe I bring it back. So in this moment, one visualize, when we do Om Benza Amrita Kundali Hana Hana Humpe, we imagine that there's this dark blue colored divinity. If it's difficult to imagine a divinity, then you can imagine a kind of blue light that comes from the vase and goes out into our surrounding areas and eliminates all interferences, and then reabsorbs it in our heart. In this case, when we do it 21 times or 108 times, we're not generating we're not emanating from our heart, but it's generating within the vase. So from the mantra go all of these lights. The lights goes to all the Buddhas of the 10 directions, and then their light goes back into the mantra that then absorbs into the vase. This is called then the action vase. In various ceremonies, there are different types of vases. There's this one, is action vase, which has this which has it has the snout like this, but others can be without. So this is called the action vase. Spout, the spout. So used to eliminate interferences. Once we've generated the vase, then we bless the offerings that is done at the very beginning of the sadhana, because we're making offerings to the divinities of the 10 directions to protect us from any kind of interference during the sadhana. And one could ask why we need so much protection. And it's because, when one meditates, and many small interferences can take away our concentration. And there are external interferences that make reference to other beings, whether people or insects or with bodies or without, so-called spirits. So we try to take away we try to create a protection so that we are not influenced by beings that can distract us from our concentration, with or without bodies. So we offer torma. The torma literally means what destroys. So it's a kind of cake that is offered to these protectors of the 10 directions to protect us from any type of interference. Called the destroyer because it's through the offering of the torma that the obstacles are destroyed. When we make this offering, you can see we have the 10 directions. We have the 10, So here we say, Om to the protectors of the 10 protectors of the 10 worlds and all of your entourage. We'll make offerings, water to drink, to wash your feet, flowers, incense, light, perfume, food, and music. Shabda. There's something specific. And it's strange that I'm talking to you with my back to you, but maybe I'll get up and I'll show you the mudras of the offerings. The mudras of the offerings, can you see? Otherwise, we put the camera this way. When you do the offerings, there are different classes of Tantra. There's action tantra that we're doing, and then there's Anuttara Yoga Tantra. In the lower tantra, the divinities, the offering deities have one face and two arms. In the higher tantras, like the Anuttara Yoga Tantra, they have 4 arms. So the mudras change. So, like when we do when we make offerings in practices like Yamantaka, here they have 2. This is here's argam, aqua for drinking. There's padyam, is water for washing the feet. That pushpe is a flower that is opening, and here when we have four when when we have four arms, we imagine arms with the arms like this, and then the other two are underneath, and then aloke, we have the sun and the moon, and then gende is a perfume we do with two hands, because there are other two hands below that are holding the container. And these are the two hands, like this gende. And then we have niwide for food, with the index fingers slightly bent. And then shapta, you can do like the two fingers that touch with like a symbol, or that go like this, like a tambourine. When you begin the offerings, you open with your left towards the outside, and then you do the lotus turning mudra, and then you begin the offerings. Argam, padyam, pushpe, dupe, aloke, gende, nivide, shapta, pratitsa also. Now, in this practice, the mudras change, because the offering divinities have one face and two arms. So argam is the same, water to drink. Padyam is to wash the water to wash feet. It's the same. Pushpe, and this is the same. Dupe, instead of doing like this, we imagine that we're doing the four fingers cross, like, let's imagine like four incense sticks that are crossed. So the aloke in this case is not the sun and the moon, but they're actual candles. So the traditional mudra is like this, or like that, which in our culture is a little strange. So better like this, where one touches the thumbs to the middle finger a little bit up. I in the monastery I learned like this, but it doesn't work so well for us. So anyway, so we do like this, aloke, gende. Instead of doing like this, we do like this, because the left hand holds the perfume and the right hand spreads it. And then Nivida is always the same at the height of our heart, and Shapta is the same. And if you have the bell, you play it. When you bless them together with the mantra of every substance, there's Om Ahum. But in the traditional way of reciting, even if it's written Om Argam Ah, you recite the first Om and the last Ah. So Om Argam Padyam Pushpe Dupe Aloke Gende Niwide Shapta Ahum. So you can recite the Om Ahum of each one, but in what's important, when you bless them, you don't open and close with the consecration. You just do the mudras to bless the various offerings. Okay? And little by little we learn. Just to show you this difference. After this, we go where we bless the offerings for the self-generation, because that's when we eliminate our ordinary identity, and we're going to self-generate as Buddha Maritse and make offerings to ourselves. And those offerings should be purified and transformed. So here we transform and purify these. We purify and transform these offerings. And here all sessions it's recited all here. Instead, the torma for the 10 protectors is done normally just in that first session. You can do it in all sessions, but just give more space to the other parts. It's done in the first session. Then after having done the purification of the offerings, and we imagine that the offerings dissolve into emptiness, and then they reappear as excellent offerings. When we say that they dissolve into emptiness, it means that we're able to see that they are empty of inherent existence. And for a moment, we're able to take away that objective appearance, and it's lacking. And in the awareness of its lack of inherent existence, we imagine that just for a moment, we take away the name. If we take away the name of that object, we're not able to perceive it anymore, so it dissolves as if it wasn't there anymore. And and then from this this amazing combination of causes and effect and interdependence, it appears as something new. So I cut that appearance of intrinsic existence. I can't perceive it anymore. And with that lack of a name, because it's almost like the object's not there anymore, and then it arises thanks to its interdependence and lack of intrinsic existence. It arises as an excellent offering. Here you can see that without the sutra, you can't really understand the Tantra. And then the next parts are the accumulation of merits with making our self-generation. So first we invite Maritse in front of us. So, Chumdende. We invite in front of us, from our heart, lights rays go to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, etc., and Buddha Maritse especially, to come here in this moment. So we visualize our root guru, we visualize Lama Tsongkhapa, all the Buddhas, all the masters of the lineage, and especially Maritse, we imagine in front of us. And at this point, we make prostration, Om Guru Maritse Sarva Buddha Bodhisattva Bhya, which means Om Guru, one's own guru, the master of the lineage, Maritse, Sarva Buddha, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, I prostrate, I praise. And then we make the offerings to all the Buddhas. Om Sarva Tathagata. Sarva means everyone. Tathagata means those who have gone beyond suffering, beyond ignorance. All Buddhas. Argam, Padyan, Pushpe, Dupe, Aluke, Gende, Nuide, Shabda, Prati, Saumsoa. We make the offerings, and here we have the 7 limbs, prostrations, offerings. Afterwards, we're going to purify our negativities. We're going to admit all of our, we're going to admit openly our negative actions, and we're going to rejoice for all the virtuous actions in these next verses. And then we take the Bodhisattva vows. We remember why we're here, why we're doing this practice, because we want absolutely to become Buddhas, to help every person go beyond his suffering. So when we recite Konchun Sun La Dab Chepshi on page 29, actually what we're doing is we're renewing our commitment to help others. We're renewing our pledge to develop our qualities for the benefit of all beings. And so it's here where we say Semchen Tamshe Dewa Dante Wigudan. Here's the 4 limitless meditations where we're going to generate bodhicitta. We're going to reinforce our love, our compassion, our rejoicing, our joy, and our equanimity. Up to here, these are, we call these the accumulation of merits and purification before we do our self-generation. So we conclude that with the absorption of the merit fields.
속신 남 랑네수 셰퍼 규르싱에 쳐와 손에 소시나 랑네수 셰퍼 규르세데 양 소시나 랑이라 팀버 규르싱 니가 치는 디그와 지난 치는 소속이 칠랍 주에 개적이 소시 랑이라 팀버 규르 데스 지금 아랑기 셈나라 데스
And at this point, it's absorption of the merit fields. There are two ways. I was talking with the geshes to see if my perception was right or not. In this way, we can visualize in two ways that all the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas that are in front of us, that each one goes back to his natural abode, because we invited them. It's not that you invite an important being for nothing and then you just leave him there, and you invite them for something, to receive to give us blessings, to receive our offerings. And we've concluded that. So now we can visualize that Maritse and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or they go back to their pure lands, their natural abodes, or they absorb into us, blessing our body, speech, and mind. Both ways are possible. After which we begin with the self-generation. The self-generation begins with the mantra Om Sobhawa Shuddha Sarva Dharma Sobhawa Shuddhaham. Om, that represents body, speech, and mind. Sobhawa, nature. Shuddha, pure. Sarva, all. Dharma, phenomenon. Sobhawa, nature. Shuddha, pure. Ahang, I am. Because in Shuddha Ahang in Sanskrit becomes Shuddhahang. It's written Shuddhahang because Shuddha Ahang is contracted to Shuddhahang. So the meaning is body, speech, and mind, the nature itself. Om Sobhawa. Om, nature, pure of all phenomenon. Pure nature, I am. So we remember in this moment that every phenomenon appears to us as being of intrinsic existence, but is free from this intrinsic existence. It's free from an independent, autonomous existence. Phenomena are pure. They're free. They're free of the so-called intrinsic existence. So we meditate on the fact that all phenomena appear to us as being autonomous and independent, but we are aware that it's not like that. And the same thing for ourselves. I appear as being of intrinsic existence, but I too am empty of such intrinsic existence. At this point, Tompani Tugyur, everything, the world around us and our own appearance dissolves into emptiness. Because what happens is, once we take away the name that we attribute, and in this moment we're not able to perceive a phenomenon that appears but at the same time is lacking intrinsic existence. So we take away that intrinsic existence, it's as if it dissolves. If we were to meditate with a lot of detail, after this mantra, we should meditate on the process of death, where we would visualize in just a few words that the entire universe around us begins to dissolve into light. Like we go to, if we go to a window, glass, or a mirror, and we blow on the mirror. We fog up the mirror, and when it starts to disappear, it disappears from the outside in. And similarly, everything around us gradually dissolves into light until everything is dissolved into light, and our body has dissolved into light from top to bottom, from bottom to top to our heart. It doesn't mean that the reality is not there. We're simulating the death process where we lose our ability to perceive the world around us, the reality around us. So in this moment, we're letting our ordinary identity go. So we imagine that everything gradually dissolves into light until there's nothing other than an a great luminous emptiness. There are four characteristics. There's no here, there's no there, there's not a this or that. It's not, there's no big or little, me or you. It's a total luminous emptiness. It's an emptiness that is interdependent, that lacks inherent existence. This great luminous emptiness that is inseparable from great bliss. And I identify myself with this state of great luminous emptiness, blissful emptiness. In other cases, we'll go into more detail, but everything dissolves into light. When we do the practice, usually we do the practice, we take a little break. We say, "Om Saboa Shuddha Sarva Dharma Saboa Shuddha Hang Tompani Tu Gyur," and we just leave some time to meditate, so that everything can dissolve into light. And so, from this luminous emptiness that represents the clear light of one's death, another time, then we arise, we manifest with a gross body, like as it happens. First, there's like a ray of light for a subtle body. So this is subtle body here, golden light, and from that golden light, one arises in the state of Buddha Maritse. Tompe na le pema dan dawetan. So first of all, from this emptiness, Brum comes up. It's the seed syllable of Verochana, which represents the pure form, and then a beautiful white stupa arises. Imagine like Rinpoche's stupa, even bigger. And in the center, where there's the vase, the heart of the stupa, we are going to arise in the form of Buddha Maritse.
tarle tuyo da me chen shem do jekin ro ge shuba te to gar da we kin ko ge ten do ran sem ye ma mi
At the center of the stupa, where there's the vase, we visualize that at this point a lotus flower arises, and on top there is a moon cushion, a white moon cushion. On top of that, we ourselves, we arise in the aspect of of a golden yellow mam syllable. So in this beautiful environment, there's this white stupa that arises in the center of the vase. There's a lotus flower, and on top of a white cushion, there's the yellow golden syllable mam, like a light rays that vibrates with the syllable mam. I mean, you can visualize mam in Sanskrit or Tibetan, that vibrates, this light that vibrates, golden light that vibrates with the sound of mam. And then lights come from us. This is our subtle, this represents our subtle body, our pure, in a pure state. And then light rays emanate into the 10 directions, and they do the two actions, they make offerings to all sacred beings, and they help all sentient beings. After making offerings to the holy beings and helping the beings, these lights and nectars come back to us, and through that power of the positive energy generated, the syllable mam develops, and we arise in the complete aspect of Buddha Maritse. We have one face, two arms. The right hand is in the mudra of supreme generosity, like Buddha Ratnasambhava, and the left hand holds at the heart, at the height of one's heart. Here in this image, it's higher, but in the description, it says at the height of one's heart. One has a branch of Ashoka tree. In India, it's an Ashoka tree. I don't know in Italian how you call it. Nyanyenyebashi in Tibetan. It's a tree that has the branches and that fall to the sides. It's and this is what we hold in our left hand. The left leg is bent, and the right is a little extended, representing action. So we're seated in this aspect of Maritse, and under us there's a kind of chariot that is led by 7 black boars. They're eating up the negativities. They're transforming them. Obstacles, negativities. At our crown, there's a white Om. At our throat, there's a red A. In our heart, there's a blue Hum. In our hearts, there's a lotus flower, 8-petaled lotus flower, and there is a moon cushion on top of which there is Hum, and at the center of the syllable Hum, there's the Mam, the syllable Mam, that is yellow, golden yellow. We concentrate on that one. And from this syllable Mam, light rays go out to the 10 directions, inviting all the sacred beings, then to whom we make offerings. So, Om Maritse Sapariware Argam Padyam Pushpe Dupe Aloke Gende Niwide Shabda Pratitsa Hum Soha, and then the Zahum Bam Ho Nisume Parkyu. So after having made these offerings, we become inseparable from these wisdom beings, and then from our heart, the beings who confer initiation to us, they come, and it's easy for us because the ones who actually confer initiation are the 5 Dhyani Buddhas. So we make offerings to them, Om Sarvatathagata again, Argam Padyam, etc. Dishin Shepa Tamshiki no Parhuantu. So please, Buddhas, confer me the initiation. After the request, with the vases that they are holding, they pour the water from the vases onto our crown. We receive the initiation. Our body becomes totally filled with nectar, and there's so much nectar that it overflows, fills up our body and overflows, and the overflowing water on our head appears as Buddha Vairochana, who appears like our own Guru in the aspect of Buddha Vairochana. After the Buddhas of the empowering deities reabsorb into us. And we conclude the self-generation at this part. It's not about imagining myself as Maritse. No, am Maritse. We allow ourselves to let go of our ordinary identity and to generate ourselves as Maritse. After having received the initiation, after we're complete as Maritse, then we make offerings to ourselves as Maritse. Here we say, Om Maritse Saparivare Argam Pratisavaswa. So when there's Om and Pratisavaswa, at that point we open up for the mudra, and then we also close.
Om Maritse Saparivare Padyam Pratishaun Soha. Om Maritse Saparivare Pushbe Pratishaun Soha. E così via andiamo.
And etc., one by one. And the offering deities come from our heart. They make offerings to us. And for each offering, we generate a deep sense of bliss where we perceive all phenomenon as being empty of inherent existence, as being interdependent. And then the offering deities reabsorb into our heart. After this, we make praise to Maritse, written by Lama Tsongkhapa. And in these praises, we are praising her qualities. We're page 32. The qualities of body, speech, and mind of Maritse, mostly. And here at the end, O you who protect and eliminate every fear, please, concede me every ordinary, mundane and extra mundane realization, those that have to do with this life or those that are taken from life to life, this worldly, mundane. And then there's the part of the mantra recitation. Here is the description of the visualization. So from our heart, on a moon cushion, there's the syllable mam. It is yellow, golden yellow, and around there's the mantra Om Maritse Mam Soha that turns in clockwise. From Om Maritse Mam Soha, light rays like the sun emanate in the 10 directions, and they eliminate every negativity, every object of fear. And we start, these light rays, they fill up our body. Imagine within our body, it's like the sun. Mam is like the sun, it's very strong, that takes away any interference. So any inner interference, like fear, like envy or arrogance or any kind of negativity of body, speech, and mind, it's just like the sun that rises. It eliminates completely all the darkness of the interferences, and it just expands like a strong, strong sun that goes into all the directions, and it takes away any kind of darkness, eliminating the suffering of every being, eliminating the sicknesses, tensions, conflicts, selfishness. Let's say that these light rays are adapted to the needs of every being, the abilities of everyone, bringing everyone to a state of peace. At the same time, after this, these light rays go to all the holy beings too, making offerings to all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, that then send their blessings in the form of light that reabsorbs again into the mantra at our heart. The light rays, and like the sun, that go to all the beings once all their suffering has been eliminated onto this all the beings. Also, that light rays, they come back to our heart. So, having time to do the mantra recitation, if we do one and then we do the other, first we imagine that our body becomes absolutely bright and luminous, and we eliminate any trauma that's been accumulated, inner interferences, physical interferences, and then we expand it to all other beings. And this is what we do with the mantra Om Maritse Mam Soha. Then there are other mantras that are longer, and at the end of the recitation time, we will recite them maybe 3 times each one. So it's the one to accumulate is Om Maritse Mam Soha. At the end of the 100,000 of Om Maritse Mam Soha, we recite Yeshe Perna. It's the rain nectar mantra, and you can do it in 2 different ways. You do Om Maritse Mam Soha Hung Ha Anse, or Om Maritse Mam Hung Ha Anse Soha. Either way is fine. And then we do 10,000 of those. Om Maritse Mam Soha Hung Ha Anse, or Om Maritse Mam Hung Ha Anse Soha. Just I think that for everyone, Om Maritse Mam Soha Hung Ha Anse, Om Maritse Mam Hung Ha Anse Soha is probably easier. And then from light nectars, go to all the Buddhas, the directions, and then lights and nectars come back to us like as a rain of blessings to revitalize our body, speech, and mind. Once we finish the part of mantras, then we recite the page 34, the Vajrasattva mantra, where we remember that our nature is empty of inherent existence, and we need to do that so that we can eliminate any kind of negativity from not having recited the mantras well, or of having been distracted, So if there was anything that was any kind of negativity that was created from not having good concentration, etc. And as we recite the Vajrasattva mantra, we imagine this flow of white nectar that goes into our from our head to our body and purifies every negativity. And then to thank the actions of Maritse during the recitation of the mantra, we make offerings. Remember that the mantra recitation, here we're simulating the sacred actions of a Buddha. We've generated ourselves as a Buddha, and then when we recite the mantras, we're simulating what a Buddha does, which is to show him or herself according to the needs and abilities of all beings. And so then the offering beings come out of our heart, they make the offerings, and then they absorb back to our heart. And then we do a short praise to Maritse. After this, in the first, second, and third session, we go, after page 34, we go directly to page 38. Because after having made the offerings, at this point, we do the final absorption of the merit field. So the Buddhas that are generated in front of us, they absorb into us. The generation, if the generation of Maritse absorbs into the image that we have, and then also into us. And then from our final absorption, from our heart, light rays go into the 10 directions from our heart. Everything dissolves into light. And then once everything has dissolved into light, once again, from the outside, inside, the entire universe dissolves into light, to our body, and then our body from above and below to our heart dissolves into light. It dissolves into the syllable mam. Then the syllable mam gradually dissolves from the bottom to top until it dissolves into the nada, that little squiggle. It's a kind of little snake squiggle. It's called nada. That represents actually our gross body that that absorbs into the central channel and then into the indestructible drop that opens where the then clear light appears, like what happens during our death. But to simplify, everything dissolves into light, into our body, into light, into the syllable vam, into light, and then in an instant from emptiness we arise again as Maritse to compute the daily activities without implements. And we have an om at our crown, an ah at our throat, and a hung at our heart. And so as we then go out and we eat and do everything we need to do, we should maintain the awareness of being Maritse. And then we do our final dedications. And with this, we conclude the sadhana. The only thing that's different is on page 35. In the last session only, we make the torma offerings. And in this case, we make a torma offering to Maritse to ask for blessings. So first we purify the torma, bless the offerings. Then we invite the wisdom being Maritse to come and receive the offerings. Then we make the offering of the torma. It's Om Maritse Sapariware.
Sarva Dharman Nam Adye Nubenatute Omahum Pe Soha.
Which is page 35, where we make the offering of, then we make the classic offerings, we make the praise, and then after the praise, we imagine that Maritse gives us her blessings to help us eliminate every kind of interference or fear or negativity, revitalizing our qualities, our inner qualities. And so this is here on page 36, requesting fulfillment, where we, after having made the offerings, we ask, all the interferences are eliminated, all of our sicknesses are pacified and purified, our qualities of body, speech, and mind are revitalized. And after that, we make we offer torma to the local deities to make a friendship with all the divinities that live in this place around. Om Benza Amrita Kundali Hana Hana Humpe. And then from emptiness, the pure offerings arise. And then that's the mantra for the offering of the torma. And then the next, the Chomden Deshin Shepa Gyalwarinshin Mala Chatsala, these are we're giving protection. We're giving protection to these beings. And in the following verses, we're giving also the Dharma to them. And after having done that, we said, okay, we've made offerings to you, please. Let's be friends, don't make problems. Let's not make problems for each other. Those who remember the teachings of the 7-point mind training, there was a part that says that we need to apply the 4 practices, and the 4 practices were accumulate merits, purify negativities, make offerings of tormas to beings to eliminate interferences, and then reply upon a dharma pala to eliminate interference. So here, these are the offerings to eliminate interferences, any interference that could be. If you go to a new place, a new city, you go to a new place, it's this practice, like from page 36, the torma offering to the local deities, this to page the top of 38, that you can do this anywhere you go, as to make friends with the beings who live there. And then we conclude.
Ok, qua c'è una piccola
Here, there's something
io nella posizione sbagliata.
I put in the wrong place
Questa riga che c'è scritto
where
l'ultima sezione.
where it says only last session up to here should be just up, underneath, because the final absorption that has to do with those divinities who came for the Torma. So where it says on page 38, only last session up to here, instead it should go to under the next one where it says absorption of the merit field, because these beings are the ones who came for the Torma. And we thank them for coming. They go back to their natural abodes from whence they came, and then the visualization. And then we do our final absorption. So just to recap, we have preliminaries where we ask for the blessings of the lineage. First, we purify our speech. We ask for the blessings of the lineage. We do Guru Yoga meditation. Then we have the part where we generate our motivation, where we ask for the blessings of the lineage. We do an instant generation. We consecrate the external offerings. We make the Torma offerings against interferences. That's the preliminaries. And then after the preliminaries, we do a frontal generations with offerings. And also we renew our bodhisattva vows. And then we do a self-generation with the recitation of the mantra. And then we can make the Torma offerings and then the final absorption. This is the structure. I hope it's clear. Just looking towards the Buddha, I can't see your faces to see if you've understood or not. I hope so. Anyway, it's important to understand how it's divided up. So, and principally, we have the preliminary part. We generate our motivation and we ask for blessings of the lineage. Then we have a frontal generation. We have self-generation, the Torma offering, and the final absorption. This is the main structure of the sadhana. And during the practice of retreat, the emphasis is on two main points. The emphasis should be given to the self-generation as Maritse, so where everything dissolves into light and one generates a divine pride as Buddha Maritse, and one puts emphasis on the recitation of the mantra with the visualizations. Who has the possibility of participating in all sessions can take the commitment to do the 100,000 mantras of Om Maritse Mam Soa plus the wisdom rain mantra. And those, if you don't have this possibility, you can take the commitment that you're able to, and also finish the recitation of the mantra, the accumulation after. But let's remember that during retreat, this is a holy place, especially in this place of retreat. We don't talk loudly, and we don't talk about anything that doesn't have to do with this specific practice. So when we finish the sadhana, people should leave, and once you've put your shoes on and once you're towards the path, past the path, then you can start talking if you need to. But this is a silent zone. This is not a chatty zone. So let's maintain silence. And once we're along the path, then we can talk about something meaningful. And if there's nothing meaningful to say, then better meaningful or necessary. But if it's not necessary or meaningful, better stay quiet. It could also be like, do you have water? I mean, it's okay. Also to help us, to keep us from distractions. When outside of sessions, you don't accumulate mantras, but you should keep reciting the mantra when you're in bed, or one wakes up early, one sees dawn coming. One can imagine that that light of the sun, like Maritse, is eliminating all the negativities, all the interferences. We try to keep this awareness in these days. And with this, I think we're ready to do this, to do the retreat. You've received the empowerment, the preparation, and the commentary. There's a very brief commentary, but enough. It's the explanation of the sadhana, and this is what's necessary to start the retreat. So we're going to conclude here, and we're going to start again at 8. The last session is shorter because there isn't the accumulation of the mantra, and we'll start the accumulation of the mantra tomorrow.
Drove munsela tato ne gyurache kewa kunto yanda lamada drame cheke pela longche sadan lamge yente rabzone dorje change kopa nyurtove sho nimo dele tsendele nime kunyan dele kshin kuncho sumke jingelo kuncho sumke ngodrobotso kuncho sumke trashisho.
Something practical too. Please, everyone, keep your masks on. Respect also the distances. And if you want to have better concentration, you can take the headphones, and then you can hear from channel number 1. You can hear just what I'm saying, and that sometimes this helps the concentration. Have a good dinner. See you later.
Una cosettina solo durante la pratica.
And during the practice of Maritse, since it's action tantra, it's strongly advised to avoid certain foods, have vegetarian, avoid garlic and onions, egg, so vegetarian, egg, and also every day. There's also the tsog accumulation. It's not an obligation within the retreat, but you're welcome to come.